So the last definition here is what does personal management mean? Personal management is simply accepting personal responsibility to do the right things and do them in order of priority. And when you do that, you can dramatically increase your productivity. How do most people try to increase their productivity today? Yeah, absolutely. Longer hours, throw more stuff up against the wall and hope it'll stick. But that's not the key. And as business owners, you know, we get in that trap real easy because we know what has to be done, right? I see a couple of heads nodding. I mean, when I worked in distribution for 25 years, I was a mad dog. I worked 60, 80 hours a week, turning that inventory, you know, because I was getting big bonuses, so I was focused on that. But I wasn't focusing on leveraging myself and my time. And as a business owner, you've got to look at how do I leverage myself. Peter Drucker says that time is our most precious commodity. But a lot of times we forget that. We look at people that make a lot of money and have lost a lot of money, and they come back and make more money again, right? So if you look at wealthy people and study a lot of wealthy people, they've been up and down. And money is not a problem for them. But one thing that every single one of them will tell you is time is precious. If you talk to really high achievers and peak performers, they're like, you know what? We only have a limited amount of time, so we're going to squeeze everything out of it. That's why you got to keep coming back. What are the vital few processes that make your organization really hum? What are the vital few high payoff activities that make you and your people hum? On and on and on. Now, I've packed a lot of stuff into the handout, but I'm not going to go over it all. But Peter Drucker says there's a few things that the executive needs to know. And number one is know where your time goes. Now, a lot of times we don't know where our time goes, and we get caught up, what, in the tyranny of the urgent and putting out one fire after another. Does anybody's days go like that? You know, the computer crashes, the machines in the back break, sounds familiar, huh? Had a few heads nodding there. Well, what happens is if we're not really, every time I take my clients through a time log, I say just 1 week. All I want is 1 week. I want you to go through that week and tell me what you're doing in 15-minute increments. So you got to carry this time log around with you. You know, you got it in your pocket all the time. But the amazing thing is that my clients, after a week, we get back together. What do you think they've spent most of their time on? Yeah, writing in the log. No, they didn't spend most of their time. They said just bullet point the log, not write a story. What happens is they find out they're spending most of their time on low payoff activities, not on high payoff activities. And it's really critical to understand the difference between the two. Number two, focus on contribution. You as a CEO, you think about a surgeon, right? A heart surgeon. Do they get paid by the hour? Do you come in and say, oh, look, I need a new heart valve. What's your hourly rate? No, they get paid for the total package, right? For the contribution they make. Now, if you need a heart valve, how much negotiating are you going to do with the doctor to get the, you know, the best deal? None, exactly. You're looking for the doctor who can do the best job, right? You're not looking for a deep discount heart surgeon. You're looking for the best surgeon. You're going to call everybody you know. You're going to talk to your own MDs. You're going to get referrals. You're going to get the best of the best. As CEOs and as business owners, sometimes we forget, what is the contribution? What do I bring to the table that nobody else brings to the table? Because you've got a lot of people that work for you and do a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need to do. You probably know how to do everything, right? But you don't need to be out in the shop doing all that stuff because you have to figure out, how am I going to leverage? What's the contribution that I'm going to bring to the table in this new economy? Are we in a new world today? And guess what? It ain't going back to the old world. It's going to change and evolve, and you know, it's going to be different. So we have to think differently, and we have to look at our businesses and say, hey, what contribution can I bring to the table? What can I do that can make my business different, better, keep my customers, build better relationships with my clients? I had a customer, a client last year that I coached, and he was in the industrial business. It was collapsing on him. I mean, way before Wall Street hit the fan. But he had this whole line of other products that that he had all these ideas, blueprints, ready to roll, ready to buy the machine, but he just couldn't pull the trigger because he was so entrenched in the old business. He grew up in the business. He was about 45, been in the business his whole life, and he couldn't pull the plug. Why not? Why do you think? Yeah. He was in the business. I mean, it was a complimentary business, but it was habit too. He was so, every day, got up and did the same thing over and over and over. Never asked himself, what contribution can I make? What can I do to take my business to the next level? How can I generate a lot more cash? And sometimes, the better we get at asking questions, the better answers we'll get. But we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and we expect a different result. And that's not going to work. We got to get out of that insanity loop. We got to stop what we're doing, get out of that insanity loop, and look at things entirely different if we're going to make quantum leaps.